After spending his first summer in the Sierra, John Muir once wrote, "Life seems neither long nor short here. This is true freedom." And just like those that came before us, we head to the mountains in search of solace and freedom. Just south of Lake Tahoe, the Sierra grows more rugged with its granite and snow-capped peaks reaching for the clouds. Come along with Overland Trail guides and our friends as we explore the grandeur of the Sierra Nevada along the Dorado Backcountry Discovery Trail.
I'm not sure this is faster than the ARB setup because with the ARB you do one wheel at a time, but I don't have to get this out, roll it back up. So I may do a little bit of timing with this. We'll see what it is. It is nice to just hook up everything and then let it all go down, but I'm not a fan of this part. We are in the high Sierra right now. We're going to be bouncing around the Dorado Backcountry Discovery Trail, kind of just going to awesome campsites, showing you the beautiful views that exist here out in the Central Sierra. I'm not sure what I'm really going to do today. I don't really have an itinerary. A couple of my buddies may join me tomorrow. We'll see, but it's just me and the dog. I think she's looking for squirrels right now. But I'm going to air down here and we're going to be on our way and hopefully find a beautiful camp today. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be beautiful. So let's go get into it.
Right now, we're in the Burnside Lake area of the Dorado Backcountry Discovery Trail. The road out to Burnside Lake is in relatively good condition with a few bumps along the way. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I wanted to do a bit of exploring. So we veered off the main road to explore the trail around Picket Peak, which is rated as a moderate trail. Things started out easy enough, which had me wondering, what sort of challenges, if any, would we run into on this trail?
See why us full-sizers get so many pinstripes, trying to fit through stuff like that all the time.
So it turned out the trail did have a few loose and steep sections and a couple of spots where it was a bit tight for Big Blue. But the biggest challenge I'd faced on the trail can be attributed to my own poor judgment. You'll see what I mean here shortly.
Situation. So I've got a new plan. Originally, I was going to try to cut this down behind me or just cut some of it, but I can't tell how much of it's holding up, and that's going to be a heavy branch if it falls. But if I clear these guys out, I should be able to back up and then come through here, clear that out. I think I can make it through. Other option is take off the crossbars and I could make it, so let's give it a go. Tell we're close, not quite. You need to get more to the right, but it's really difficult to do that with the limited space I have. Well, I was gonna tell you guys, there was that steep twisty section. I didn't mind it, except it was tight. There was a lot of trees. I actually had to cut some other trees down below to get through. Thought we were out of it, got to the top, and then we encountered that. I'm just glad we made it through. I think next time, I'm just gonna pull out the chainsaw in advance and try to do that work. It's just not worth it. If you watched what happened to me in Southern Oregon, the way back home, it was a little bit more precarious than that. So I'm glad to have made it out of that. All right, let's go.
If you'd like to get more information about the El Dorado BDT, or if you'd like to join us on one of our adventures, then head on over to overlandtrailguides.com. Overland Trail Guides features North America's largest directory of curated overland routes. Within our route guides, you'll find detailed information like trail ratings, recommended vehicle, best time to visit, discovery points, GPX files, and more. Why don't we get back to our adventure now? Once we made the short climb up the ridge, we could see the rugged peaks of the High Sierra come into view. I was starting to wonder when they would make an appearance, but the trail quickly started to descend back down the mountain, winding its way through the trees, and it seemed to be getting narrow with each successive turn. This can't be good. Darn near found myself in another predicament when I came upon a turn that was just too tight for Big Blue to get around. Luckily, some quick scouting revealed another line that would get us to the bottom of the trail. Well guys, that turned out to be more of an ordeal than I was expecting, between getting caught under that one tree with the camper, and then I didn't show you all the sections, but there were a lot of tight sections working my way kind of through there. That last one that you saw that I had to get creative to get through it, would have been no problem in my old Land Cruiser. It just would have gone through it so easy, but with the wide turning radius on Big Blue, it was really hard. Ironically, that was like 100 feet from the main road that we're on. We're headed to Burnside Lake and have a little snack, and then think about maybe where we're gonna head for camp, but hopefully we'll be at Burnside in the next 10 minutes. All right, let's go.
we're at beautiful Burnside Lake right now, one of the discovery points on the Dorado BDT. Like I said before, we're just going to be bouncing around, talk to a really cool gentleman over here from the Napa Valley. Just saw a big fish jump right now. But it's absolutely gorgeous out here right now. There's a little bit of a wind. It's about 75. Water's nice and warm. I am really tempted to camp here, but I think I'm going to head up the mountain, catch the sunset. And like I said, I want to launch the drone in the morning when the wind is down. So I think we're going to do that. All right, let's get into it.
Unlike the roundabout trail that circumvents Picket Peak, the trail to Hawkins Peak immediately starts climbing and it gets loose and steep fast. In no time at all, we had crested 9,000 feet, with Hawkins Peak still towering above us. Up here, one can see the jagged High Sierra peaks rising to the south and the west.
As you guys can see, it's absolutely beautiful up here, but it's like a constant, not like big wind gust, but like 15 with occasional 20-mile-an-hour gusts, and it's just blowing non-stop. So just really not going to be very nice to hang out up here in the wind. So I'm going to drop down to Burnside Lake. We'll get up early tomorrow and we'll come back up here, get some of that nice golden light hopefully, and launch the drone. All right, let's head down the mountain. Well guys, this is camp for the night. I'm actually surprised there's not more people here at Burnside Lake. Got one of the really nice spots right here. I think I'm gonna have a couple cervezas, jump in the lake, clean off, and figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner. But Shasta made a little friend over here. There's a Dutch Shepherd Husky. It's really, really cute. It looks like Bolt from the movie. Anyways, gotta get that cerveza. Well guys, if you're gonna camp next to a lake, I think you gotta go in, right? So woo! Come on, Shasta. Come on. Woo! Woo! This trip was definitely overlanding on a budget. Fuel is never a budget, but I had a bunch of food that's been sitting around, old chili, ramen, baked beans. Tonight I'm just eating a sandwich because I don't want to clean up in the morning, because the plan is basically don't want to deal with dishes, don't want to deal with putting the stove away. Of course I could do that at night, but maybe I'm just being a little bit lazy or economical in eating this. So gonna launch the drone here over the lake in a minute. Starting to get some nice sunlight now. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna set the alarm for 6 a.m. Gonna get up to Picket Peak and hopefully get some really nice light up there, because it is absolutely spectacular. But I'm gonna enjoy my dinner because I did not have a lunch. That's okay.
6 a.m., trying to be quiet as possible. Everything is packed because we do have some neighbors that are about 30 feet away in a tent in a group over there. So gonna fire the truck up, start heading up the hill and launch that drone. Looks like there's no wind right now, so it'll be perfect. As we made our way back up the mountain, the rising sun greeted us as we approached the crest of the ridgeline. The alpenglow illuminated the mountain slopes around us, while our elongated shadows stretched westward to Burnside Lake below us. It's no question that the decision to hit the trail bright and early was paying off in spades. Well guys, happy to be back in the truck. Even though I did most of the filming, follow me mode and stuff like that, outside it's 42 degrees and there's pretty good gust of wind. I got a mosquito in here. So your hands get cold really fast. So I'm glad I was not outside shooting, but I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot up to Hawkins Peak, try to make it up there. Last time we were impeded by a giant fallen tree, so I'm hoping that's been cleared in the last month. And then I think we're gonna head back down the mountain. My buddy Jonathan's coming out. Sounds like he wants to camp at Lost Lakes. I think I'm gonna poke around the Hope Valley area. There's some lakes out there and just go exploring. All right, let's get into it. So we're right below Hawkins Peak right now. It's cold and it's blustery outside. I'm gonna get out and show you a shot, but I could see the top of the radio tower. We're at about 9,650 feet right now, and the top is just over 10,000 feet, so pretty cool. So we're at the end of the road. This doesn't go to the top of Hawkins Peak. You have to take a little hiking trail to get up there. It goes to this little knoll that has this great overlook, kind of the eastern edge of the Sierra over here. You can see the rain shadow. There's a bunch of trees on this side. Hills and the mountains looking that way, looking east, are quite barren. But I'll get out and show you. It's pretty awesome up here. You got a great view of Friel Peak, Jobs Peak on the south shore of Lake Tahoe, and then you can just see lots of the High Sierra all around us. After our explorations atop Hawkins Peak, we headed back down the mountain to Burnside Road and began making our way over to Hope Valley to continue our explorations.
So I want to take Shasta, get her some exercise here. We are in the Hope Valley area now. Had to burn a little bit of pavement, and we'll be on dirt. Gonna go explore some of the lakes around Blue Lakes. No surprise here, lots of people taking advantage of Hope Valley. Absolutely beautiful out here. Shasta, come here. Hope Valley and the surrounding area is absolutely gorgeous. You can see why I'd rather camp over here than up on the way to Horse Meadow. Just spectacular views, the mountains and the alpine and all that stuff. So we're gonna go explore some lakes, and then we're gonna go up past Blue Lakes, and there is some lakes, some smaller lakes up there. I think we're gonna camp at. So it sounds like Jonathan's gonna come up, and I'll just meet him at camp. May even get there like early afternoon and just hang out. Fine by me. So there's a really nice spot at the end of the road here. There's like 3 rigs that were parked down there. It shows that the trail keeps going on the map, but they basically said it's way too tight for a full-size truck, and that's what they all had, so I trust them. But yeah, it's good to know that there's some nice campsites out here. It looks like PG&E is already draining this reservoir because they're all part of the Tuolumne hydrology project. It's an old hydraulic electricity generation system, and I guess they draw them down because a month ago it was totally full, and it's already down like 10 feet, which is kind of crazy. All right, let's keep going.
After exploring the trails around Tamarack, Sunset, and Wet Meadows Lakes, we pushed on to Indian Valley. Indian Valley is a beautiful high alpine meadow, and I was intent on finding some campsites for future adventures. In spite of its beauty and relatively flat topography, I was a bit surprised that suitable campsites were far and few between in the valley. Eventually, the trail leaves the valley behind and heads into the pines. With the scenic views now obscured by the pine forest, we decided to turn around and begin making our way over to Blue Lakes and up Forestdale Divide. we jumped on Forestdale Divide and passed Lower and Upper Blue Lakes on our way up the mountain. The trail was a lot steeper and rockier than I'd remembered, but Big Blue trudged upwards and onwards as we made our way to our rendezvous point at Lost Lakes. Upon reaching the first Lost Lake, there were well over a dozen rigs occupying every half-decent camp in sight. We pushed on to the second Lost Lake, hoping the rocky terrain might keep the crowds at bay. The first Lost Lake was filled with campers everywhere, and I could see why. The wind was whipping hard through the East Lost Lake. One small group was braving the wind, but I wasn't confident this would be our camp for the night. I anxiously awaited for Jonathan to arrive so we could assess the situation.
So we made a game time decision. It is blowing like a mother, at least at the other Lost Lake. The first Lost Lake is full of people. Lots and lots of people out, like I said. They're freaking everywhere this weekend. We're out on a weekend. Usually I try to avoid the weekends, but I just happen to be out here because that's how it works out sometimes. So we're going to go down over Forestdale Divide, hop on the highway for a little bit, and then we're going to try to go to this other lake that is a lot more secluded, so we can hopefully be out of the wind here.
Leaving Lost Lakes wasn't all bad news, because we'd get to take the trail up to Forestdale Divide and then down to Red Lake. As you climb higher to the divide, the pine forest begins to dissipate, and views of the High Sierra peaks like Round Top and Elephant's Back come into view. Once you reach the pass, you definitely got to stop and get out of your vehicle to take in the views of the awe-inspiring peaks of the Sierra. Now here's where the fun begins. The descent from the divide to Red Lake is filled with plenty of exposure, rocky off-camber sections, and an appropriate dosage of steep, loose, and narrow sections to keep you on your toes. Forestdale Divide is definitely one of my favorite sections of the Dorado BDT.
Forestdale Divide is absolutely spectacular. The divide, or the pass, is around 9,000 feet, and just there's not a lot of places in the Sierra where we can get to that elevation. There are a few, and this is one of them, and it's beautiful up here. And it's just rocky enough and not too crazy to keep it interesting too. So we're out of the tough stuff, but it's still steep, a little rocky, but not like up on top, right?
We hit the end of Forestdale Divide and jumped onto the highway. 15 minutes later, we were back on dirt and on our way to a new lake. But would we find the solace that we were searching for on this busy summer weekend in the Sierra? I guess we'd find out soon.
We finally found a lake. Had to continue on the Dorado BDT to one of the little lakes further down by Pardo's Trail. Nobody's here. Beautiful, but process of me trying to back into this campsite, I hit a tree. Oh well, just seems like it's the plastic, so it shouldn't be too bad. But let me show you camp. It's always hard to shoot when you're in the shade and you got the sun behind you, so I'll do my best here, but we got a fantastic spot here. This is one of the little lakes, the Dorado BDT on the way to Pardo's Trail. Nobody's here. Little bit of a breeze, so much nicer than the situation at Lost Lakes. That was just blowing like a mother. There was people all over the place where we had set up camp. The neighbors just down the way were doing like non-stop target shooting. I don't mind a little bit, but it was like pop, 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 pop. Here, it's just us, so gonna enjoy ourselves. Figure what we're gonna do tomorrow. Probably not a whole lot. Head home early, hang out, but for now, cannot complain.
Well, it's another beautiful day up here in the Sierra. Got a small breeze, blue skies, the birds are chirping, really can't ask for more. The weather's really kind of gotten a little bit warmer as the sun came up. It was a little bit chilly last night, but Shasta and I are just gonna enjoy ourselves and don't have a lot on the itinerary for today. I think we are gonna go up to Hungalelti Ridge to the viewpoint. There is an awesome viewpoint up there of the High Sierra, absolutely spectacular. Last time I was up there, there was a bunch of smoke, so we couldn't get great views, but this time it looks like it's really great conditions, great visibility, blue skies. So we'll go up there and then probably head home. All right, let's get into the day, guys. All right, we said our goodbyes to Jonathan and Connie, so packing up here. I was waiting for them to get up. Well, it's absolutely beautiful up here. We're starting to climb up on the ridge here and starting to get some of those views of the High Sierra. But as we jump onto Hungalelti Ridge onto Pardo's Trail, We're just gonna go up to the viewpoint up there because there's no way this truck is fitting through some of those trees, and it's not fun to maneuver it through all those big rock gardens. So nice camping spot up here. But yeah, wait till you see these views up here. They are coming into view right now, and they are awesome. We turned left onto Pardo's Trail and immediately began ascending Hungalelti Ridge. The High Sierra viewpoint is a short couple of miles away, which would mark our turnaround point and the end of our journey. Till next time, Godspeed.